Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as you probably expect at this point. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom, whilst the Nintendo Switch remake is going to be on its way until the 17th of November for this year. So, usually Friday in some cases though, for the days of the week department. So, last time we've essentially managed able to continue exploring for the forms of Forest Maze by not only we can able to take on the next boss in the game, which appears to be Brower, and in addition to that, we also managed able to claim ourselves the second star piece, and at the same time, we somehow managed able to team up with Gino. In addition to that, we also managed able to explore Pipe Vault, which pretty much leads us to this particular upcoming area we can able to explore. So, relatively speaking though, that might be seems the case. So today for this video is about the fact that we'll be able to actually continue exploring, and while this is going on, is about the fact that for that particular hidden chest, as far as you definitely saw from about a second ago, basically, it does contain a frog coin, basically. So, either way, and yeah, this particular place looks a bit familiar to you, because this place is filled to the brim with Yoshis, so yeah, that seems pretty cool, though, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that, yeah. And also, you can able to have a ride with Green Yoshi, as you can see. But here's a catch to this, though. It's about the fact that you can't take him anywhere. So instead, that he's only explorable during the forms of this particular location, as you can tell. Which, from the record, I think this particular place is actually called Yoshi Island. So because of that, though, now the reason why we came here in the first place is most notably because there was actually a competition roll around. Like, for instance, there was this blue Yoshi called, Boshi, I think it's what it says anyway. So basically, we need to talk to a certain Yoshi, specifically that pink Yoshi as far as I'm talking to right now. And basically, we do have the option to able to go for, of course, or not. But the reason why I have to show this off is because there was actually that particular reward if you managed able to go into this particular island in the first place. Like, for instance, about the fact that now we've actually got a set of number of Yoshi's cookies, as you can tell, and basically once we're able to be all set, basically we have ourselves a very straight line track. And what this means is about the fact that now we can able to have a challenge with Boshi, I think is what it says anyway. So either way, which pretty much leads us to the next minigame, which appears to be Mushroom Derby. So yeah, basically all you have to do is basically, it's kind of like a rhythm kind of mini game. So basically that was about the fact that you have to press the A and B alternatively so you can get the rhythm going. And then if I recall correctly, if you press the Y button, you can able to have you utilize the cookies. So either way though, let's just get this started. So of course we do need able to practice the rhythm first. So just to ensure about the fact that if you pay attention to what Toad is saying, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like in a certain rhythm, and then basically as soon as you're able to get this, then you should be able to dive right into the actual race. So, sometimes though, this race can be tricky to execute, especially noticeable that, again, as I mentioned this earlier, it's all about the rhythm base. So, but if you manage able to screw it up at one point, then obviously you do have some cookies to your disposal. However though, you can only use for about 3 cookies so far, as you can tell. So, but either way though, let's just see if I can able to just beat Boshi right here. So, just to ensure that, oh jeez, I'm also able to start using certain cookies up to this point. So, oh, come on, come on, come on! Oh, that was a definition of a close call right there. So, yeah, once you're done with that, then all these other Yoshis just somehow become crowded, and as a result, that we did somehow manage to become our ultimate victor right there. So, but either way, oh yeah, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is about the fact that today's date, of course, the 17th of July today, in this case in 2023 today. I apologize for that particular commentary from earlier, but that's just because about the fact that I almost getting slightly better, but as a result, until in a couple of days' time, that I should be able to be fully recovered after that particular sick bug as I've managed able to come across into. So, but either way, and from here we get ourselves a Yoshi cookie, which is pretty swell, I might add. Especially noticeable that, as you can tell, that he mentions that we're most able to use that in battle, but I don't think we could probably use that for the time being, just because obviously about the fact that somehow we managed to beat one race, but assuming of course later on though, that we might come back to this place at some point later on. So but either way, that pretty much takes care of it from there. And now let's go ahead and move on to the next area, which takes place in Moleville. So I wonder what this place is going to be about. So it's filled to the brim with a lot of those weird building structure, and especially noticeable about the fact that we can pretty much guarantee about the fact that during later on anyway, we can pretty much guarantee to able to stumble across into ourselves the next star piece eventually. So but either way, and something tells me about the fact that there was that particular scene with Bowser alongside with the forms of some Goombas and Chemics as well, and something tells me about the fact that Bowser's almost running out of his troops after, you know, several defeats in one hand. So, but either way though, I'm sure about the fact that we'll try to meet with him at some point. So, because relatively speaking though, I think he's probably go ahead and continue his progression for the sake of time. So, anywho though, there's quite a lot of things I could probably explain about this as well, I guess, and that is about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, it's about the fact that, again, I apologize as well about the fact that sometimes the uploading schedules just goes a bit, you know, once again, super duper slow. That's just because about the fact that we did somehow manage to organize certain stuff at one hand a couple of times, but there are a couple of times though about the fact that it's going back into the forms of the part where I remember when Sonic did actually told me something, that back in 2015, and I believe same applies for 2016 and 2017 as well, that basically, for the love of God, the uploading schedules with those 3 years, it's really slow back in the day. Especially noticeable because I remember that he did tell me that whenever they first got themselves the Roxo Game Capture HD Pro, back in the falls of in 2015, that it does take a bit while to get used to with the settings back then. But since about the fact that we still have that particular Roxo Game Capture HD Pro for the longest amount of time, like, I think if I recall correctly, we now actually have ourselves that particular capture card for about 8 years roughly. So but either way, let's just go ahead and buy certain things right here. Like for instance, we can now able to buy a punch gloves as well as symbols right there for both Mario and Mello. Now there was also the finger shard right there, but technically we've already got that during the forms of the Rose Town. So because of that, and also I'm also buying myself some other armor and stuff like that, especially noticeable now we actually got ourselves work pants. So as a result, we can now able to equip not only the punch glove for Mario, but also we can now replace certain weapons for Mello, like symbols to able to do a good amount of damage, and especially noticeable we can able to upgrade like Mega Shirt and Mega Pants, and for Gino we're also able to go ahead and actually kind of think about it. Let me go ahead and equip this for true form for Gino, and for armor we'll go for work pants for Gino, just in case for extra protection I suppose, because relatively speaking though about the fact that since that we've already managed to able to take control of Gino, since in Bow Wow boss fight, that basically though the damage is a little bit nerfed at one point. So as you can see, I did manage to sell certain things in one hand, just in case I can able to rank up some more coins, but I'm not going to sell the forms of jump shoes for the time being, just because, well, obviously about the fact that we've already technically still learned not only regular jump, but also super jump as well. So just in case we can able to deal with certain bosses or certain enemy encounters later on for their weaknesses weaknesses or certain strategies and stuff like that. So, and this is where we come across into ourselves the much stronger items, like for instance we can now able to get ourselves not only mid-mushroom, but also with the forms of some other items even there as well. I really do wish about the fact that I can able to upgrade my storage space for the items, because unlike in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door most likely, that I can able to actually get an item that allows me to able to upgrade my item storage, so I can able to carry as many of those items as I want. But for this game in particular though, I don't think that seems to be the case, unfortunately. But I'm sure we're able to try to get used to it, I guess. Especially noticeable, this is where the game starts to get slightly tricky, especially noticeable with not only with isometric platforming you have to deal with, but it's also about the fact that with certain enemy encounters you do have to able to encounter throughout. So, anyway, a few things I want to explain while this is going on. Recently, about the fact no matter what though, we actually get ourselves quite a lot of announcements during the forms of the past few days or so. Like for instance, about the fact that the game called Tomba, that it was actually exclusive back on the PlayStation 1 days back in very long time ago. Apparently it's about to getting its Switch release at some point later down the road, but I'm sure we'll let Sonic be able to mention more about it during the course of Sonic Frontiers basically. So just to ensure about the fact that we can pretty much guarantee we'll let him mention more stuff during later down the road. So anyway, so something tells me about the fact that we need to get up there somehow. But of course, as you can tell, that since we're still exploring through Moleville, this place is filled to the brim with a lot of mole townspeople. So because of that though, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense, because obviously about the fact that we're able to meet up with those moles. So, and from here we can able to actually not only rescue those kids, but also just try to able to explore the rest of the cave. So, yeah, we'll try to investigate. So, and those moles gives us a helping hand to able to reach certain spots. So, anyway, so this is where we come across into ourselves the next selections of enemies. So, for instance, about the fact that this enemy right here is actually known as Magmite, and basically those guys do have 26 HP, and from what I can gather, that the experience points they dropped, if I recall correctly, drops about, I don't know, 5 experience points, and they only drop 1 coin, at least as far as I'm concerned. But again, my numbers wasn't exactly the most accurate in the world. So, but regardless of anything else though, those Magmites did somehow got higher defense if you managed able to do like certain attacks for symbols and all that stuff. So, sometimes it might take a bit while to able to not only just try to able to beat them, but also about the fact that sometimes my timing feels a bit off at the moment for both Mario's punch gloves, and especially noticeable with anything else in general. So either way, and I think I'm also guaranteed able to give myself double the amount of experience points if I get Yoshi, which as a result I did. So that way it should give me about roughly 8 experience points. I couldn't imagine about the fact that if we able to actually come across into a lucky moment, well, assuming of course if we able to stumble across into tougher enemies, then I should be able to keep on leveling up during that time. So, anyway, so here's another new enemy that we somehow come across into, and this one appears to be known as, well, we've already experienced the forms of Sparky ever since in Pipe Vault. So as a result, we stumbled across into ourselves in Gurma, I think is what it says anyway. And it does have 150 HP, which is quite a lot. And in terms of like other stuff worth noting for, I think it drops about 10 experience points, and they only drop about 5 coins. At least, again, the numbers wasn't exactly the most accurate. So, and also I don't suppose if you noticed, but recently that the weather condition is actually getting pretty bad today. During the course of the UK country at the moment, like as a result, it's somehow we got ourselves rain weather, which is not that surprising, especially noticeable because considering about the fact that after all, we're still in summer after all. So but either way though, sometimes you never know about the fact that we can pretty much guarantee to able to stumble across into terrible weathers at some form or another, and it just feels a bit of waste of opportunity for me anyway, to able to realize that, you know, rain does exist. So that's kind of unfortunate on my part. So, But I digress. Oh, and something's worth noting for is about the fact that, yes, indeed, about the fact that, well, Luigi has officially turned 40, recently. So because of that, well, better late than never, I suppose. Happy 40th anniversary of Luigi's existence. Well, at least specifically, in terms of the forms of, you know, video games industry, that since in, Mario Bros. On the arcade machine, that is when, Luigi was first appeared in. So, either way. Oh yeah, something's worth noting for, as you can probably already tell, that we've already come across into one of those enemies, as you can tell, from about a few moments ago, and that's what appears to be the Bob-omb, where basically the Bob-omb does have 90 HP, and then if you kill them, you get about 0 coins dropped, and you only get 4 experience points if you kill them, so... At least if I'm assuming so anyway, so either way though. But then again though, it's been about 3 days ago since we've last played this game, because obviously about the fact that by that time, that next week, for those of you who lived in the UK, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, both on DVD and Blu-ray, was expecting to be releasing next week. So because of this though, yeah, we've only got roughly not only a week left, but also about the fact that we've only got about 4 days left until Pikmin 4 is going to be releasing. So either way, we still have no idea what the reviews is going to turn out to be for Pikmin 4, but I'm sure we're able to let Sonic we're able to mention more about it at some point once he goes back onto Sonic Frontiers. I'm not exactly 100% sure, or perhaps even maybe we'll let Silver we're able to actually mention more details onto that topic during at some point in a Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, basically. So... But then again, though, we'll have to wait and find out. So anyways, let's get rid of those guys right here. And exponentially about the fact that there was actually that particular spring that we can able to interact with. But before we get into the actual spring, oh wow, nice. That way, I should be able to actually get myself. Well, it's only like 4 coins I've got, so I guess that should be okay for my book. So. Oh, speaking of such, here we have another new enemy types, and that's what appears to be known as Cluster. So I believe Cluster only has like 60 HP, and then they only get like roughly 8 experience points, and exponentially they drop about 8 coins. So that does seem quite a lot, but not only for its coins value, but it's also about the fact that with the experience points as well, I guess. So, anyways, I think I'm also able to use the actual mushroom for Mallow, just in case he don't want to die. So, although every once in a while, though, it's about the fact that certain enemies will get a bit aggressive for certain damage output, and on top of all that stuff, though, how strong they can be every now and then. But either way, though, and I think I get the strong feeling that he does. Oh yeah, for Cluster enemy right there, they somehow managed to do a self-destruct little attack right there, which not only that it almost kills Gino, but also about the fact that, well, it's kind of hard to be able to block that sometimes. So, which sometimes though about the fact that sometimes blocking needs to be exact, accurate for all that timing in mind. So, anyway, so we now reached level 9 as Mario, so that will be pretty cool for that respect. So either way, and something tells me that certain areas have been blocked, so yeah, we definitely need to bomb somehow. So in some cases though, I suppose we're able to investigate. So, but before we get to that though, I just need to able to like not only heal up Gino right there, just in case of its maximum potential for its health and everything, but also about the fact that I can assure you we might come across into ourselves not only 1 boss fight, but 2 boss fights in this particular video. So that'll be interesting if that seems to be the case, because even then, that unlike any forms of how it does it on the previous parts on this so far, that basically we only shown 1 boss fight in each video, so that might be seems the case throughout. But in this particular video's case, that we might able to come across into not 1 but 2 boss fights, so that'll be interesting for that particular point worth noting for. So now I suppose if you go through here, I believe that particular area has also been blocked, so there's nothing we can do about it, aside from the fact that we can now able to actually jump onto this little trampoline spring. And while this is happening, oh jeez, our head hurts. and we somehow almost fell unconscious as a result. Oh, what's this? We got ourselves Croco. Gee, he did somehow make his return after the events of the Abandoned Way, so I suppose that... Oh, geez, he took our coins, so I suppose we need to go after him somehow. So in some cases though, it's about the fact that every once in a while that we actually stumble across into certain familiar enemies, as we already saw in Rose Way. So of course about the fact that I believe we do need to be able to get certain coins back. So... But there's a catch to this though. If you did manage to be able to come across into certain enemies like those little bandit-like enemies as you saw, basically you do get yourselves a different reward instead of the forms of coins. So for instance, that's, I think one of those enemies in particular is going to be on, yeah, right over there. And exponentially about the fact that it doesn't matter if you managed able to kill one of them. So in some cases though, I think we're able to kill one of them, and it looks like the other two just somehow got away. So that's fine, because obviously about the fact that we'll get 10 coins back, and especially noticeable we're able to get ourselves the, well, exponentially speaking though, that we were able to get a flower tab. So that should be all good. Especially noticeable that, oh, there's another enemy just right next to the actual trampoline spring. So, exponentially we're able to try to finish them off like so. So, yeah, there's not much else I can say about this at this point, even though it's kind of unfortunate about the fact that I think my phone's battery is almost dying. So, even though it might be a little bit sucks about the fact that if I was trying to explain about the faults of certain, things itself, I suppose, sometimes though, that's, well, it's kind of hard to say really, because I know for a fact, as I said before, it's been about 3 days ago since I played this, so... Anyway, so we got ourselves yet another flower tap, so that should be all good, but unfortunately I've almost run out of room for my item storage, so I definitely need to sort this out at some point, so let me get rid of the, pick-me-up item, even though that it might be worth it when it comes to likely using that. But either way, let's use the flower taps from here. And, well, we did somehow almost come to a point that we somehow immediately on to the next boss fight, which appears to be Croco again, except this time he's actually a little bit tricky to deal with. Although, ultimately speaking now about the fact that he's still pretty easy to manage. So, for instance, about the fact that in terms of the forms of Croco, in some cases a rematch incarnation of Croco, that he does have more HP this time around. So, for instance, about the fact that he does have himself 750 HP, and then once you're able to kill him, I believe you get about roughly 30 experience points, and on top of that, you're able to get 50 coins on top of that. So, yeah, that's the actual part of the reason for it, I suppose. Now, let's go ahead and use the actual fire orb, so just in case we can able to do the exact same strategy as before, and, oh, it does deal lesser amounts of damage this time around. Okay, so I see what this is. He's basically now likely the stronger variation of the first encounter with the forms of Croco. So I suppose we're also able to do physical attacks for the time being. Unless if I was trying to able to utilize not only some fire orbs, but potentially speaking if I was trying to able to pull off the star beam or just anything else for that matter. Well, oh, how do I miss that? Okay, that's not fair. But oh well. I suppose the only thing we need to do left now is, of course, just do physical attacks, and that's pretty much about it. And I suppose during later on, as you can tell, basically Croco decides to be able to utilize his next new attack, and maybe exponentially that he steals something for us. So, yeah, we did need to be able to retrieve it back somehow, so... I do need to get a lot of practice on the forms of well-timing button press with that, not only certain symbols, but also with Mario's Mega Punch as well, or exponentially, there we go. So that way it deals some bit of damage here, so just to ensure that we're not get able to mess up the fight. Oh yeah, here's his new attack right there, which appears to be Chomp, where basically he just grabs something in its bag, and then he throws some stuff at you, so... yeah, I think that's what their attack does, so... yeah, nothing too substantial about it, but hey, at least it's something, I suppose, that he does something new to the table, so... Even though sometimes it takes a bit of a while to able to get to this fight going, so, and I think that was it, basically. So even then, that he's out of here. So now we've actually received one of those items back. So in some cases though, yeah, that's what I can really think about it. So there we go. And it looks like Mello is now on to level 9, so that should be all pretty swell, I might add. Especially noticeable about the fact that we can now able to say this right now, that we might able to actually make the game a little bit more manageable when it comes to likely dealing with enemies and all that stuff. Apart from a couple of exceptions, mind you, so... Anyway, so now we've actually received a bomb, so now we can able to deliver that to one of those mole characters. So exponentially though, once we're able to try to take down certain enemies as far as this is concerned. So, but I promise you guys, we're probably not going to run away during battle anytime for the time being, just because obviously I do need to able to get a lot of experience points, just in case if I want to able to deal with, you know, tougher battles, as you can tell, so... But I digress. So, there's another thing I should probably explain about this as well, I guess. It's about the fact that, exponentially speaking, that it's been about 30 years ago since when Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo has first came out. Even though we've already done a Let's Play of Super Mario All-Stars just recently, ever since in, I would say in March. Especially noticeable about the fact that while looking back on Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo, as a matter of fact, slash Nintendo Wii if you want to count with the 25th anniversary celebration of any sorts, well, I will admit that right away, I still had a lot of fun playing Super Mario All-Stars, despite a lot of people got disappointed with the actual, the Wii version. Especially noticeable, it's just, you know, the Super Nintendo slapped onto, to a Wii disc. So, but either way though, that must have been said something. Well, I was expecting they were able to also include Super Mario World on there, but it's a very similar situation as in Super Mario 3D All-Stars, where basically they were expecting to also include Super Mario Galaxy 2 in 3D All-Stars compilation, but as it turns out, that we've only got 3 games, and usually in Super Mario All-Stars on the Wii, only has 4 games instead of 5. So, I mean, it would be a fantastic opportunity, but it's a bit too late for now. So, but either way, it's kind of unfortunate, so... But I digress. So now we can able to actually access to the continuation of this particular cave section, which I suppose, in terms of the actual length itself, is actually not too very long. So as a result, we can able to go for the last few areas for this point, and as a result, we can able to, well, I think I'm also able to go straight through here, and oh jeez, there's that little surprise attack with Shark Guy with that minecart. But if you do that, you get yourselves a nice frog coin, so that should be pretty swell. So either way, and something tells me about the fact that there's a Starman in here, so that way we can able to deal without, you know, a lot of bombs, while able to actually just, you know, get some more experience points in the process, despite sometimes my depth perception feels a bit kind of wonky at times, especially noticeable. I was expecting to able to ram into certain enemies in the Starman form, but sometimes though, I'm potentially very unlucky for that depth perception in mind, so... Oh well, no big deal I suppose, especially noticeable we can able to easily taking down certain bombs, even though sometimes the bombs love to charge at you thanks to that self-destruction bit. So, but either way though, exponentially, I'm not exactly sure about the fact that you don't get experience points if the bombs get self-destructed, or with cluster for that matter. So, but either way though, I'll able to actually just briefly look upon certain status reports, so... Anyways though, so let's just go ahead and move on to this next room, and it feels like we're actually getting very close to the point where, oh jeez, we somehow get into an enemy encounter, but that's fine, because obviously about the fact that we can able to deal out with these guys no problem, especially noticeable with Gino's finger shot, and, well, we keep on getting defense up for Gino, so that's actually pretty swell. Oh, and by the way, since that we actually stumbled across into one of his attacks called Crystal, it's actually kind of hard able to block that particular attack, I will admit that right away, but either way, so it looks like about the fact that hopefully we'll try to deal out with the forms of Sparky right there, and, oh, so close. But hopefully we'll finish him off with Gino, so there we go. Oh, wait, that's a sight to behold. So, anyway, let's grab some more coins for that treasure chest. And before we continue, let's go ahead and deal with this bomb here. So, oh yeah, and another thing is worth noting for is about the fact that, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour again. But it feels like about the fact, no matter what though, is that I was begging to able to actually get the next driver, which appears to be Wiggler. But you know, when Sonic has already mentioned about this, or especially me, or perhaps even maybe Silver has already mentioned about this already, that basically it's a shame that the Wiggler playable character is actually locked out behind the stupid tier system, which I'm hoping about the fact that I can able to actually get her, but if not, that'll be okay for me, because obviously I've already technically got Wiggler, not only in Mario Kart 7, but also in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, thanks to the evolves of the actual DLC Wave 5, so, but I'm still very curious to know what the final two playable characters are going to be, in terms of the booster course pass, but I'm hoping with both Diddy Kong and Pauline will make it, because obviously about the fact that obviously we need Diddy Kong ever since in Mario Kart Wii, and we definitely need Pauline because Pauline is actually the most popular Mario spin-off playable characters since in Mario Tennis Aces, as well as Mario Golf Super Rush, and of course Battle League Football. So either way, I suppose we'll find out later on. So, either way, let's just go ahead and equip the jump shoes for Mario, because something tells me with this next boss fight, it might be pretty effective in terms of the next boss fight coming up. So, but either way though, let's just go ahead and double check if we're able to be okay enough with certain items. I think so anyway. So, either way, let's just go ahead and actually go and think about it though. There was actually that particular healing chest that we can able to actually sort out with. For the most part, I think I should probably able to go ahead and select one of those armor equipment for let's just go for Mallow's True Form pin, and sure enough we're able to get ourselves not only our flower points restored, but also with some HP as well, so just to ensure that we are able to come across into our next boss. So I think something tells me about the fact that certain bosses now and then is actually going to get a bit tougher, because something tells me for this point right here that not only we need to able to avoid those bombs, but you need to approach into this boss fight at the back, because if you approach him from the front, obviously you get knocked back. So either way, those points to know you always have to approach him from behind until you enter the battle sequence. So in some cases though, and this is the part where we're able to come across into ourselves the third piece, or should I say, the third star piece as far as this is concerned. So either way, let's get to it with this next boss right here. So yeah, it doesn't take that long to able to get to one boss to the other. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting, all things considered. So anywho, so let's go ahead and do some well-timing button presses for the super jump, even though it does some good amount of damage, I must admit. So in some cases, here we have the next boss fight right here, and this guy is known as Punchio. Basically, he does have about 1,200 HP. Now, unlike in any other bosses in the game, including the true finale boss in the game, which I don't think we can probably be able to spoil this for the time being, this is the only boss in the game so far does not drop not only experience points, but also coins as well. Because I think something tells me about the fact that we might come across into something for later. So, yeah, and every once in a while though, he starts able to summon those other variations of certain bombs. And even especially noticeable with the forms of some stronger ones as well. So, you know, for the most part, this boss fight is not too difficult or anything, assuming of course about the fact that, well, obviously you got able to save up some of your flower points for certain situations. Like every time when a bomb shows up, basically always have to recommend using Thunderbolt for Mellow, just in case it'll deal some good amount of damage to not only Punch and AO, but also about the fact that with certain bombs as well in the process. So, but I digress. So, and something's worth noting for as well, that Cap King 74, he's actually almost done with the entire side stories, for the sake of Pikmin 3 entire thing itself as well. Well, again, it's a bit tricky to explain because I know for a fact that we've just been you know, still being very excited to able to know that Pikmin 4 is just around the corner. So, but either way though, which I can't even believe by saying this, is about the fact that the time itself is when wowzers, so... But I digress, and it looks like we're now on to the third and possibly, presumably, the final phase, where basically he now summons much bigger bombs, and gee, it looks super massive indeed. So of course, about the fact that we need to take him on very quickly, so just in case about the fact that we don't able to lose our party members for the sake of time when it comes to dying and what have you, so... Oh, jeez, Louise. Whoa. Whoa, good lord. Look how much damage it took. Well, I suppose, no matter what, though, I'll use the, mint mushroom for Gino, just in case we do need able to finish him off somehow. Although every once in a while, similar to the forms of how it does it for, shysters, sometimes the bombs will able to just shows up at one form or another, just in case for, ultimate challenge, I suppose. So... yeah, we'll go ahead and use the mushroom for Mario, just in case we don't want to let Mario dies in this fight, so... Oh, good lord, why does it goes after Gino? I suppose it really doesn't matter, because obviously about the fact that he's almost down anyway, so... yeah, let's go and keep on using Super Jump as, Mario right here, so just in case we can able to exponentially try able to do some bit of damage to, him. And, oh jeez, he's almost down, as far as what I've noticed. So just use the Thunderbolts right here, and... oh, darn, so close. Oh, wow. So, I'm surprised that Mello didn't take that much damage for that bomb. Okay, that's actually pretty dope and everything. So, and once the third phase is over, well, presumably, this entire battle is done. So, after a brief, confrontation right here for this, dialogue text boxes here and there, so exponentially though that this entire battle is pretty much over. So, and exponentially we can able to actually get ourselves the next star piece after all. In some cases, star piece number 3. So, I can't believe we're actually getting almost to a point that we've almost at the halfway point of the game so far. I mean, exponentially speaking, though, that might be seems the case. So. And something tells me about the fact he's trying to summon the last bomb, and something tells me that his plan isn't working, so... oh, jeez Louise, that thing is massive than ever. And I suppose he's down, I guess? And something tells me about the fact that since we got ourselves a massive bomb, we pretty much history. I mean, sure, we can able to easily run away from it, right? I mean, that might be seems the case, but oh jeez! It's gonna explode, or is it gonna blow? And don't tell me we get a game over. Oh, thank goodness. Don't worry, folks, it's not a game over, it's just the actual, explosive effect on us, so that's fine, because obviously about the fact, as I said before, not only we don't have experience points, but also we don't have coins essentially as well, so that's fine I guess. Although exponentially though, if we do try to able to fight some more enemies to encounter, then we do definitely need to able to grind some more experience points, so... And there we go folks, that pretty much takes care of the forms of, well, the cave section in, Moleville. And not only that, the actual star piece somehow restores our color mode. So that should be all pretty swell. But still, I'm very surprised that we actually got the star piece a lot more sooner rather than later, so... here we got ourselves the third star piece! And this time it appears to be in orange color, so... and it looks like we've only got 4 pieces to go, so exponentially, I think we're almost able to end things up at this point right here. So, yeah, join me next time for more Let's Play of Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the 7 Stars, is that we do need able to get out of this cave somehow, but in the next room coming up, it does contain a minecart, so we can potentially try to get the heck out of here. So, yeah, I'll see you guys at some point on Wednesday. Later, fellas.